The biggest PlayStation Portal update ever is finally here. Software update 6.0.0, and it adds the feature we've all been begging for. You can now stream and play the digital games you actually own directly through the cloud. I've just downloaded the update and tested it for myself and played 5 different types of games to see how it really performs. So is this the update that finally makes the PlayStation Portal a must buy? Let's jump in and break down everything that's new right here, right now. First off, we need to just chat about the biggest update, which is playing your digitally owned games via the cloud on the PlayStation Portal. So now you can play select games you've added to your game library from the PlayStation Store via cloud streaming. And I guess this also ties in with the user interface update. When you log into your portal, you've got your usual remote play bit where you can connect to your PlayStation 5, and then you can press the R1 or L1 buttons to navigate along. Then you've got the cloud streaming with PlayStation Plus Premium, where you can check out games in your library and streaming games from PlayStation Plus, which is just the cloud streaming catalog. It's now no longer in beta, it seems, so that's pretty cool. Hopefully it rolls out to more regions soon. I know a lot of you don't have this yet. And then we have got the little magnifying glass up the top, which allows you to search for games. So first off, let's check this out. And if you go in here and you can click on it, and I'm going to search for God of War. Let's see what happens. So here we have God of War has popped up, and we have got God of War Ragnarok. So I'm going to just quickly jump in and open this up to see just quickly what it looks like. This isn't one of the games our class has been tested. We've got 5 other games that we'll check out later on in this video. And as you can see, it just performs exactly the same way the cloud streaming beta did, which is really good. That's a good thing. Runs perfectly, no complaints at all. So that search feature is really handy. You can just click on that and search for any game, and that will quickly tell you if it's available in your library to stream right now, or if not, you can then buy it if it's one that is still cloud streamable but you don't own it, or if nothing shows up, it's just not available to stream at all just yet. You can make purchases while playing a streaming game. I didn't actually test this out, but we do have a screenshot here showing you what it looks like in Helldivers 2. So if you are buying, I don't really buy in-game cosmetics. I'll buy maybe DLC and stuff like that, but not usually stuff like this. So if you are doing a lot of that, maybe you're playing Fortnite, for example, which people buy loads of skins in, you'll be sorted. You can do that straight on your portal. So other games I jumped in to check out thinking, right, let's try a variety of different games here quickly. And first off, I jumped into, well, after God of War Ragnarok, which you've seen already, I went into Mortal Kombat 1. I thought, what about a fighting game? Let's see how that runs. I did notice King of Fighters 15's in there, and that's one of my favorites, but I didn't realize till after I'd already recorded Mortal Kombat 1. And it runs awesome, really, really good. I have no complaints, well playable. This is just such a good start for the cloud streaming of owned games on your portal. It will be cool when they add even more games. Currently, the amount which are available to stream which you own is actually a whopping 2,800, which blows my mind. But when I had a look through the library, there's a website you can look through them all and see everything that's available. There is a ton of just garbage AI slop games. I don't know how these games pass approval, and then let alone pass approval for, you know, PlayStation cloud streaming. It's kind of weird. They need to have a bit of a purge and get rid of a lot of these. That's just my opinion. But let me know if you've seen any really weird looking games listed, or if there's any obvious ones you think would be listed that are missing. There's quite a few. A lot of you have asked about EAFC. It's not there. Call of Duty's, they're not there. So there's quite a few big games missing. Battlefield, not there either. I'll be intrigued to see if Battlefield RedSec appears, because free-to-play games are on there. I'll do a separate video on all the free-to-play games later on. But we did test out one of them here in the video, so in this video, so we'll get to that in a moment. Next up, I had to jump into a game I love playing on the portal. So I love shmup games, and Signe All Guns Blazing is one of my favorites, and it is so goddamn tough. But I had to just quickly check this out on the portal, and it looked stunning and runs perfectly. Zero complaints, no noticeable lag or screen tear or anything. But not all games looked perfect, and we'll get to that in a second. Fantastic game to play on the portal, and now it's available via cloud streaming. This is great if you have picked the game up, because it's not available in the cloud game library. So this is a way for you to play it via the cloud if you own this game. If not, go and pick up, it's really good. And you can obviously still play it via remote play. It runs great that way. Also, next I thought, what about a racing game? Because they're really good, I think, for showing off how cloud streaming performs. And I jumped into Dirt 5. If you've seen any of my videos before, I just love a good rally game. I love the cars cruising about in the mud and the noise they make. So Dirt 5 it was. I noticed it was in my library as a cloud streamable game, and jumped on into it, and it looked pretty good. It ran well in terms of, you know, it was super playable. But it's when I play games like this, though, that I wish there was more customization. Hopefully they'll add that in future, where we can increase the bitrate, because if this had a higher bitrate, it would look less grainy. It does look a little bit grainy when there's so much happening on screen. There's a bunch of cars, there's mud flying everywhere, and the in-game action, is moving really fast. So that would be a nice update I would like to see in the future. Variable bitrate, so we can change that. I'm pretty sure some of the other remote play and cloud streaming apps allow you to do that, so that would be really nice to have. However, this made me think this is the perfect time to check out the troubleshooting feature, where you can check out your network status and see how it's running. And really surprisingly, I opened that up, went into the settings, so you go to troubleshoot and then show network status. And bizarrely enough, it wasn't a really strong signal. I thought it would have been a really strong signal. Like I say, I have a good connection. I genuinely don't have any problems playing my portal anywhere about the house. So this was interesting to me. It actually said my signal strength was medium. The resolution was 1080p, and then the downstream speed and upstream speed just fluctuated throughout the whole time. Latency kind of hovered around 25 to 30 milliseconds. And I know that could be big if you're playing competitive games, you know, first-person shooter type games, you know, but let's get real. I genuinely don't notice this when I'm playing like my single-player games, even racing games. So it's one thing to keep in mind if you are a competitive game player. I don't think you'd be looking to play games on a portal anyway, but it is something to bear in mind. There is latency. I don't notice it. 30 milliseconds, who knows, maybe I just don't have an eye for these things. Maybe you will, but it ran perfectly for me. Also, frame corruption, downstream loss, and upstream loss were all 0. So let me know what your cloud streaming connection looks like when you troubleshoot it. What does it say about your signal strength and your speeds as well? That'll be interesting to see what yours all looks like and how you think it's performing. Which is one of the reasons this service is locked behind PlayStation Plus Premium, their top tier. Hopefully they'll bring it into some of the lower tiers. I think they probably won't. If they do, that would be great. I'd be all for it, but I don't think they will due to the costs involved. And that's why I'm surprised free-to-play games are in here. However, I think the economics of it is in-game purchases. Sony makes a fair cut off of every in-game purchase, so it must work out for them to have these hosted for us to play via cloud streaming. Therefore, I jumped into, not Fortnite, yeah, that's what you're all expecting. I went into Fall Guys, a game I have not played in years and I used to be addicted to when it first launched. And geez, oh, I have actually forgot the controls for Fall Guys. So the gameplay was fine, it was perfect. Me actually playing the game was absolute garbage. I completely just have lost all skill at this game whatsoever. I absolutely sucked at it. But it worked perfectly. So if you want to jump in and play some of the free-to-play games, they'll run fine. You will be jamming. It's a really good way to access these games. However, you will need to pay for PS Plus Premium, obviously. If you did own a PlayStation 5, you could stream these. You could actually do this at 0 cost, because you don't even need PlayStation Plus to play free-to-play games online. So you could have a PlayStation 5, download Fortnite, Fall Guys, Apex Legends, whatever it is, Warzone, RedSec, download them to your PlayStation 5 and then play them on your portal via remote play at 0 cost. So that's something to keep in mind. Then that got me thinking, what have we not really covered here? First person shooters, let's jump into Doom Eternal, see what that looks like. So it was in my cloud streaming library also, which was great. And it's quite handy. You can just filter via purchase date, new to old, old to new, and the name A to Z. And jumped into Doom Eternal. And again, it was a great experience. It ran perfectly. The portal is not the ideal place to play first-person shooter games because the sticks are slightly smaller. I do recommend you pick up some thumb grips like these ones from D-Brand. Links are down in the description to the ones I recommend. It does help, makes a bit of a difference, but in terms of the actual on-screen quality of the game and how it was fab. If you played a lot of FPS games on the portal, you will get used to it. And you'll be way better at it than I am. However, that's not the sort of game I would usually play on the portal, but it's well playable, it works well, and it just opens up the amount of games you can now play on this thing via this cloud streaming PlayStation Plus Premium owned games update. But that's not all. There were some other nice updates here where they've added some nice accessibility features like text size and a screen reader, which you can use while playing streaming games. To get these, you go into settings, cloud streaming, and then accessibility settings for cloud streaming, and you can adjust them as you like. I like how the UI has been updated. It is far, far better with the 3 tabs for connecting to your PlayStation 5, cloud streaming, and then searching for games. Also, you can just press the PlayStation button and the little side dashboard pops out no matter what you're doing. That is really, really nice. 3D audio support has now been added for the Pulse Elite and the Explorer earbuds. If you've got a PlayStation Portal and you've got one of these headsets, it just makes it even better. These are so good to use with the Portal because you don't need to have a wire. You can buy Bluetooth dongles. I have recommended some of them in my earlier accessory videos, but this is definitely the way to go. There's zero lag, which you do get with some of the Bluetooth dongles. Wireless, amazing sound, and now 3D audio. Win-win. And for security, you can set a passcode on your portal. You can go into settings, system, and then passcode. Type in your PIN and you'll be asked for your PIN every time you try to access your portal. Just a nice thing to do in case someone did steal your portal, especially if you take your portal out and about with you. I would really advise you to turn on this passcode feature just for that extra bit of safety. And I know we kind of brushed over this feature, but one that I do think is actually such a big win that people are probably overlooking because of the cloud game streaming edition of owned games is the search feature. Being able to search for games now to play via the cloud is massive. If you remember the cloud streaming beta, you just had this list of games to just scroll down. So this is a really nice quality of life enhancement and just makes it way simpler and way more usable. To ensure you've got this, make sure you update your portal. You should have a message when you turn it on saying to update it. Then once it updates, it'll probably ask you to log in again using the QR code, scan it with your mobile phone, it'll open up the PlayStation app, and then you'll be in and you'll have access to all of this. If you're a PlayStation Plus Premium subscriber, you need to be a Premium subscriber to access all of the cloud game streaming. That includes streaming owned games and the cloud game catalog. And if you're still having any kind of technical difficulties where the game's looking a bit grainy or not connecting, make sure you check out this video on screen where I give you a bunch of hints and tips to get the best performance out your PlayStation Portal.